welcome to a new episode of the Fee Compass Jam Sessions podcast. My name is Chiara Continenza, and I will be your host today. Today's guest is Ton Overmeire, a manager of the Hague's Holding Fund. Welcome, Ton, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, and thank you for the invitation for this podcast. It's always a pleasure to talk about the financial instruments of The Hague.
So, Ton, Fee Compass has worked with you recently to produce a series of videos showing how financial instruments are helping the city of The Hague achieve climate goals and develop more sustainable infrastructure. Before we dive into the details of why you decided to work with financial instruments, can you perhaps run us through some examples of the projects that have been financed and what their impact has been so far on the quality of life of the citizens of The Hague?
As you can see in those movies, is that there are different types of projects financed by a financial instrument and projects that contribute to our policy goals. And that is one of the strengths of the financial instrument, is it's their ability to finance a range of different types of projects. Small projects, very important for the neighborhood and very important for the local community, but also big projects with an impact on the city's infrastructure. And the first project that was financed in the Netherlands, in The Hague, but also in the Netherlands, was financed by our energy fund, which is called Energy Fund The Hague. It was a small project at the local football club, HVV Laakkwartier, and the fund provided a small loan to the club so they could invest in a triple solar roof. And although it is a small project, the football club is an important asset for the community. And this project shows that once you have set up as a city something which is quite complex at the start, when you begin with the financial instruments, like setting up an urban development fund, once it's there, it is easily accessible even for small initiatives. And that even small loans by financial instruments can make a difference. And another project financed by the same energy fund is the first geothermal heat station in the city, which is located in the Hague Southwest area. And that will eventually provide green energy to 4,000 homes and businesses. And that will help the city of The Hague to achieve our ambition to become carbon neutral by 2030.
Ton, why did The Hague decide to work with financial instruments, and how are ESIF financial instruments helping you meet your policy goals?
We're introduced to financial instruments through the Jessica initiative in the programming period 2007-2013. And so the economic crisis came, and that made us started to think about attracting money to our city. We were always very successful as a city in financing urban development projects in the old way, with the money we received from the European Regional Development Fund. With the economic crisis and the lack of private finance available in the market for some of our key projects, we thought that financial instrument would be a good solution. Not everybody believed in it from the start within our city, but what helped is that we wanted to continue to be successful with the programming of our ERDF money. And we heard the rumor that revolving funds would become more and more important in the programming in the period 2014-2020. And that gives us the political will as well to start a small pilot to see if it would work in our city, to assess the potential of financial instruments. We called the European Investment Bank and we asked for help, and they helped us a lot to build the structure, gain the skills, know-how. So we started really small, but we had hope for more and ambition for more for the period 2014-2020, which we are in now.
It is interesting indeed to see how you started small in 2013 and then achieved so much in the current programming period. What steps did you take to set up this financial instruments?
We created the holding fund and made an investment strategy for that holding fund, which was approved by the city, of course. We wanted to create two funds, one on energy efficiency and the other one on space for entrepreneurs. And once it was set up, the holding fund started with the procurement of the independent fund managers. And we did the state aid notification. We started to work on the project pipeline. You need projects to invest in because without projects, there is no need for an investment fund. And that is really difficult work as well for when you work at a city, because it is a different way of thinking. We were very lucky to have good fund managers that helped us and also to help to find the projects that were bankable. So that's what we did. But now the structure is there and it proves to be working well. And the fund started to deliver the results. And then following the successes of these results and the success of the pilot, we decided to invest additional resources from our own budget and also from the national budget and from the regional budget. And then the ERDF money from the programming period 2014-2020. So we started with 2 funds of 4 million euros, and now we are at 50 million euros from both ERDF and public money.
And what role does the independent fund manager play in this structure?
The fund manager must make the fund a success, of course. And you need an independent fund manager that understands how the city works, what the city thinks is important, and also that understands how the market works. The fund manager gets an investment strategy, of course, from the city, but it is his or her job to deliver the results that are wanted and that are needed from the investment strategy. And also, it is the task of the fund manager, of course, to make sure that the fund is revolving, that it will generate revenues so we can invest again. We started, for instance, with the fund for space for entrepreneurs. We only thought about all the projects, and we knew that the banks were not willing to finance these projects before 70% was sold. So that is why we started with the FRED fund. The interesting thing is that the fund manager, he really understood much better than we did where the market failure was. The reason that there was not 70% sold before the project starts was because there was no possibility for an entrepreneur to get a mortgage when the building is not built yet. What a fund manager can do is help the project developer with the investment and at the same time helping the entrepreneur with the mortgage or the loan. And that way you invest on both sides of the market failure and you make the project a success. The other example is the geothermal heat station, for instance, which is a huge investment with a loan. I would never have thought about giving a loan and at the same time do an equity investment to control the huge amount of money. That is something that only a banker with experience can think of. A good fund manager can help making the project a success.
And now, Ton, looking ahead, what are your plans for the use of financial instruments in the next programming period?
Well, I work at the Department of Urban Development, so we are in the business of building cities. For that reason, we hope to be able to continue our work with financial instruments and not for the money. We are not in it for the money, but to make The Hague a better place to live and to work in. We are a growing city. So we need new housing. The biggest ambition for us is the ambition to be carbon neutral by 2030. And we also need to realize, of course, our ambitions to develop the economy in the city, especially now with the new economic challenges after Corona. These are elements we want to have in our new investment strategy, which will be linked to the new ERDF program. Well, we have learned that if you start small, you can grow. And now we have reached that scale. We want to speak to other investments, public and private, to say, well, we have a working structure here in The Hague. We have good projects. We deliver good project with a return. So there is an investment opportunity for you in The Hague. We are at the moment developing detailed plans for our energy transition program, which will require huge investments in new energy sources, in infrastructure improvements, in public and private housing. We believe that financial instruments will have an important part to play in this, in the financing of this program.
And now to conclude, Ton, what would be a piece of advice that you would like to give to other cities in Europe who are also considering setting up their own financial instruments?
The first thing that comes to mind is the "Just Do It" slogan from a sports company. I'm a marathon runner, not very ambitious, but I like to run marathons in cities. So the "Just Do It" would be, I think, a good state of mind. Just do it and start small. Maybe with your last ERDF money. I don't know. Maybe if you have still ERDF money available in the current program. Start small like we did in The Hague. Learn what is working in your local situation. Build a relationship with a fund manager, with other banks, projects. And after that, start thinking bigger. And then when your ambitions grow and your project pipeline is developed, hopefully you can go forward like we hope to be able to do and meet your goals. So use your money from ERDF programming from the one period to the other. And because the money revolves, when the projects are a success, you will have more money to spend in the next programming period as well. And that would be my advice. Just try to and start.
Thanks a lot, Ton, for your availability today to share your very successful experience in The Hague. It was a real pleasure to talk to you.
Yes, very much. And once again, thank you for the short movies that you've made from the 5 projects. I hope they inspire others as well.
Thank you again, Ton. A big thank you also to our listeners for tuning in today to this new episode of the FiCompass Gym Sessions podcast. If you have any questions or want to suggest a new podcast topic, send us an email at info@ficompass.eu. Don't forget to follow us on social media and to subscribe to the podcast on the main podcasting platforms. Have a good day, everybody.